Okay, so today we're gonna talk about these, the AirPods Pro Max. Still not getting used to this name. I'm gonna tell you why I think, even though everything people talk about with this is the price, I'm gonna tell you why I think that even if these were half the price, they wouldn't work for me. So I've tested these out for quite some time and I feel like I have enough information to kind of give a recommendation as to whether you should purchase it or not. So let's start with build quality. If we're talking about build quality for these, I would say these are excellent. Like, they feel very solid, very heavy, very rigid. There's definitely nothing flimsy about these. Even on this headband area, it feels solid. The issue I have been talking about is this, right? So this mesh, I do worry about this, because if you put this in a bag and if you consider the case, which will offer no protection to that, and we'll get onto the case down the video, it could be an issue if you poke a hole in this. I don't know what solution Apple has for you. I don't know if you have to replace, well, I don't know actually. I really don't know what the solution would be. So that could be a big issue for some people. The ear cups, they feel obviously cold to the touch because it's this time of year. I think in terms of whether they'll scratch or not, I thought I had a scratch on these, but it turns out that it maybe just been a bit of fluff or something. So I reckon they would scratch. You know, if you'd put them in a bag and you didn't put the case on, I reckon something could definitely scratch these. So definitely worth watching out for that, using that case, which is unfortunate. And this is gonna be a theme coming in the video, this case, but let's keep going. Okay, in terms of the buttons feel very tactile. That crown dial it has for, that looks like the Apple Watch's crown dial. It works like the Apple Watch's one, but it feels better because it's bigger. It feels a little bit more tactile. When you push it down, it feels more satisfying to press as a button. The noise cancellation buttons feels really nice to press down. It just feels very, very, very well built. So in terms of build quality, I guess people would say, assuming the price, build quality should be top notch. And to be fair, it is. Now, to focus a little bit more on comfort, I would say they are comfortable to wear, once they're actually on your head. There might be some issues with a couple of things. One, there can be a bit of pressure after a few hours, but you got to listen to it for a long time. So I had these on for basically a whole day. And towards the end of my listening session, I would say you do feel like a little bit of pressure, but overall it's very comfortable in terms of the ear cups on your actual ears. For me personally, I think the ear cups are a bit warm. So it's all right around this time of year, of course, but for sure when the summer comes through, spring comes through, it might be a bit too warm. And if on a hot summer's day, wearing this outside and this material, sweating on it, I don't really know how that's gonna look after a couple months in the summer, using that every day. I'd worry about that. Of course, these ear cups are replaceable, but of course they also cost a lot of money too, so you wouldn't really want to be replacing them too regularly. In terms of walking around with these on your head, for me it was fine. I do have a abnormally large head, so your mileage may vary, So sound quality. Now with sound quality, I'm not actually going to spend too much time talking about sound quality of these, right? One, because everybody has their own kind of preference in terms of how things sound. And ultimately, I think if you're going to make a decision as to whether to buy these headphones, definitely try them, especially with the price, to see if you like the kind of sound stage and the sound profile. But what I would say is, for me, these are excellent in terms of sound quality, a lot of clarity. It's not like The bass isn't crazy boom, boom, boom. It's like, it's there obviously, and it's, you know, very good and pronounced. But these are excellent quality, which you would expect, of course, with this price range. And what I would say is, the only nitpick I could have with the sound is that, you know, unlike the Sony headphones and other headphones, there is no way to customize the sound, the sound signature and the sound, the equalizer. There's no way to, unfortunately, customize that. But I would say straight out of the box, these sounded amazing. I have a video with me opening the box and just having a first look at them. You can take a look at it here. And yeah, these sound amazing. I won't spend too much time, like I said, on the sound, because they do sound amazing, and they should, to be honest. The next thing I'll look at is the special features. So, of course, this has active noise cancellation and also has a transparency mode. I would say this, along with the sound quality, is where these headphones really shine. The active noise cancellation is really good. I would say it's probably, to be honest, it maybe doesn't sound great to a lot of people, but I would say it's on par with the AirPods Pro. Is it a little bit better? It's really close. Me personally, I couldn't perceive the difference, but perhaps it's slightly better. I don't know. Maybe if you pay more, you've paid so much for it, you kind of feel like it should be slightly better. But to be honest, I would say they're about the same, which is pretty good for everyday use. Now, in terms of the transparency mode, I would say these are very, very good. I really like how natural it sounds. It's just kind of cool to have these on your head and then just being able to press that button and everything just kind of, it comes in, but in a natural way, and you obviously can still listen to what you're hearing. I walked around these and with a lot of traffic, and it was kind of interesting flicking between the transparency mode and the noise cancellation mode. So with the noise cancellation on, it really did put the traffic in terms of sound way down. The only time I could hear a car was basically when it was just going past me. But if it's in the distance, it's really quiet. And then obviously when you put the noise, the transparency on, everything just comes in, and you can feel safe if you were to run with these, which I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't recommend doing any exercise with this. But if you were just going out for a walk, you would feel fine, because the transparency mode will make it feel like you can perceive what's around you. In terms of our features, we have the iOS integration, of course. So this is one of the big reasons people would get these. Of course, all these iOS integration is also in the Beats, the newer Beats headphones. So if you, of course, want a cheaper headphones that integrated with the Apple ecosystem, you could go with those Beats. But of course, Apple's premium headphones do integrate really well with all their products. The auto switching that happens between the iPad and the iPhone happens really seamless here. And of course, you can use it with Apple TV, you know, and obviously connecting to different devices happens very seamlessly, and you know, it happens as you would expect it. So yeah, this is definitely where it shines in the special features, and of course in sound quality. The last special feature, which I did mention earlier, is the removable ear cups. This is a good feature. It's just unfortunate that one, it's just expensive. That's really the issue. I suppose being able to switch these out on such an expensive pair of headphones is good, but ultimately it is quite expensive. But at least it does allow for some customization in terms of getting different colored ear cups, which I'm sure people will appreciate. So I have to talk about the deal breakers, right? And I'm gonna lump in a lot of different things into this section. The biggest thing I would say in terms of deal breakers is that case. Now, because the case design and the case choice has kind of, basically that choice has led to other issues happening with these headphones. So here's the thing. With the case, you have to have the case on the headphones to stop the headphones from basically discharging, right? Is that the word? Discharging or losing charge. So one, I don't know if you guys are like me, but when I'm in my house and I'm listening to music on a pair of headphones like these, I don't often put them back in the case, right? So these actually lose charge. In my experience, I don't know if things will be updated, they lose charge quite quickly when they don't have the case on them. So that's, to me, is like, in terms of convenience, it's a bit of a deal breaker, because obviously having to always put it into the case, and of course it'll be fine if the case actually charged the headphones, right? Similar to the AirPods. For me, Apple really dropped the ball here, because all they had to do, and I say all they had to do, but considering these are £500 headphones, I'm sure people would have taken a slightly worse build quality, and then they could have made a case which charged the headphones in a similar way that the AirPods Pro's case charges the AirPods Pro, and you just charge a case. It keeps some charge within the case, and it makes it more convenient for people to use. Unfortunately for these, that's not the case, and the case just holds the charge. So for me, that's not really providing enough value. Now, if we can go further down the case and talk about the fact that the case doesn't even really protect these very well at all, right? So there's still areas here that will be exposed when you have the case, not to mention this part of the headphones, which has no protection at all. I spoke about the mesh here. You know, there's no protection there. If you have like a pencil in a bag, you know, it could easily just pop through here, and then I don't even know what your recourse in terms of fixing this would be, how much it would cost, if you can even fix it, right? To be fair, it probably wouldn't have any bearing too much on using the headphones. You probably still will be able to use the headphones completely fine, but it's just, you don't want that, right? Another bit of a deal breaker for me, and this is me personally, is, as I said, for me, the ear cups, they run a bit too warm on your head, on your ears. It just, for me, it gets way too warm with these ear cups. Maybe it's also because I've kind of moved away from these overhead type of headphones, but kind of because of that reason. But for me, you know, it's winter time and it gets quite warm, so I can imagine summertime, that kind of heat. I couldn't really imagine wearing these just kind of casually walking outside. It's gonna be super hot, and even a hot day indoors, I mean, you're gonna be, well, I will be sweating. And you know, obviously, like I said, I don't know about the durability of these with sweat and even any kind of wetness on them. So those are real deal breakers for me. So in conclusion, I didn't want to make this review about price necessarily, because I wanted to just look at this as a product, just standalone. Would I pay for it? You know, even if it was half the price, would I pay for it? And unfortunately, because of the deal breakers I mentioned, I wouldn't actually pay for this even if it was half the price, because that case design in terms of convenience is really, for me, it's going to be a massive inconvenience just to use these, right? Because I use the headphones, I put them down, they discharge, then I have to, it's also running lightning cable, so then either I always have to have it on charge to keep the charge, or I have to always put it into that very strange looking case, and that just holds the charge, it doesn't even charge it. And for me, if I'm gonna pay money for tech and stuff, it has to be a convenience, not an inconvenience. So even despite this fact that this has an amazing build quality, it has great great sound. Obviously, it's very nice and pleasant to use, especially with the active noise cancelling and the transparency mode. Like I said, using the functionality of it works really well, and I actually did enjoy using this. But it just falls down in terms of everyday use, because for me personally, it's very inconvenient to have to just charging it and obviously keeping a charge. And then obviously I mentioned the stuff with the ear cups running quite warm, and for me, I know long-term summertime, it's going to be something that it will be an issue in terms of being too hot on my head, and it just gets very uncomfortable, because even in this weather where it's very cold, it's been slightly uncomfortable. So unfortunately for me, these aren't going to work. The AirPods Pro Max, they're good headphones. I'm not really sure who these are for, because I feel like if you are somebody who likes overhead earphones, you know, the inconvenience of charging these or keeping these charged, for me personally, I would get something else. But one thing these headphones have definitely made me do is appreciate my AirPods Pro even more. because now those are the OGs now, and I really appreciate those. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comment section. Do you agree? Yeah, so try not to think too much about price when you're talking about whether or not these are good or not in the comment section. Just look at the pros and cons I laid out and just tell me what you think, would it work for you? And yeah, thanks for watching. I'm still on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so I appreciate your help with that. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button. It only takes a moment for you, but it means the world to me. Thanks for watching. Peace.